Pre and existing Chantel Nation, gather round, because today we're breaking down the looks from the behind-the-scenes movie premiere that held over the weekend. And baby, the guests did not come to the red carpet to whisper. They came to bloom, meaning that they encapsulated the theme Bloom Elegance. In my usual tradition, I'll break down what I think each look should entail using the dress theme as my yardstick. That way, we're all on the same page, all right? Congratulations to the box office queen, Funke Akindele, for yet another blockbuster debut. Come 12th of December, all roads lead to cinemas in Nigeria near you. So Bloom Elegance. Bloom represents freshness, growth, vibrancy, and natural beauty. It's the moment a flower opens up. It's full of life, color, and softness. In fashion, Bloom speaks to floral shapes and motifs, soft organic movement, freshness and femininity, and I would add a sense of coming alive and unfolding. Elegance, on the other hand, is refined beauty, sophistication, and polished simplicity. It's grace without effort, luxury without noise. In fashion, elegance shows up as clean tailoring, high-quality fabrics, subtle, tasteful detailing, and a poised, timeless silhouette. When you merge Bloom with elegance, you get a fashion theme that embodies nature's softness with couture level refinement. So think floral or leaf inspired designs executed with precision, soft organic shapes balanced with structured tailoring, fresh radiant colors elevated through luxurious fabrics, and basically outfits that feel alive, graceful, and artfully composed. Then it fits the Bloom Elegance brief. Understood? Yeah. Let's get into who bloomed and who needed a little more sunlight in the roast segment. Starting off strong with executive producer of the movie, Funke Akindele. She showed up in SomobySomo. Funke said, "Bloom Elegance, I will bloom you people into silence." This gown is a full couture botanical experience. The color is a lush forest green that frames her skin tone so beautifully. We're talking layered 3D leaf appliques from neckline to hem, textured sculptural, and very intricate. It sits on her skin like it was custom dyed for her complexion. And that asymmetrical shoulder, dramatic but still refined. Her hair was styled in a romantic sculpted updo that complements the dress instead of competing with it. She looks like a high fashion mother nature on opening night. The craftsmanship and theme execution, stunning. This look gets a strong 9 out of 10 from me. Next on my list is her party outfit. Of course, she had to change. As per executive producer, she deserves it. She stepped out in a vibrant tricolor beaded encrusted mini dress by Toju Foyeh. The fabric is rich, the beadwork is dense, and the color blend sits beautifully on her skin, with that wavy petal hem giving soft floral energy. It's giving sunset meets luxury cocktail. You can tell that money touched this fabric and the silhouette is flirty in the best way. But let's talk about the sleeves. Those rope and pom-pom details, they are fun, yes, and they add movement, but it's also giving cultural carnival rehearsal. If Toju Foyeh had kept the shoulders clean, this dress would have been a masterclass in clean sparkle. That's just my opinion. The floral heels are on theme, but they kind of fight a little with the already busy dress. Still, Funke carries it with that confident A-list auntie who knows her worth energy. And that alone elevated the whole moment. For this look, I'm giving her a solid 8.5 out of 10. It is bright, bold, playful, and very party appropriate. Iyabo in Mubrik Luxury is next on my list. The Queen Mother went full black and white opera blue. The voluminous black floral applique bodice is dramatic, sculptural, and unapologetically couture. Paired with the textured white column skirts, it gives contrast and confidence. The fit is clean, the structure holds, and the neckline frames her beautifully. That said, I think that the black florals slightly overpower the softness Bloom Elegance calls for. This leans more theatrical couture than blooming romance, if you ask me. Still, it's powerful, it's polished, and red carpet ready. I'll rate Iyabo an 8 out of 10 for this. Scarlet Gomez in this velvet number by Finaluchi Couture is next on my list. This is rich woman in full bloom energy. The deep white velvet hugs her perfectly, and the oversized red petal detailing adds drama without swallowing her frame. The fabric choice is luxe, the tailoring is precise, and the asymmetry keeps it interesting. However, the pearl detail borders on costume drama when paired with such a heavy fabric. You all know how velvet is hard to style. It's stunning, don't get me wrong, but just one design element away from excess. She still understood the theme clearly, so I will rate her an 8.5 out of 10 for this. Tobi Bakre, styled by the Angelic touch, is next. He delivered artsy bloom with masculine elegance. The bronze ruffled shirt is fluid, it's romantic and refreshingly daring, while the floral overcoat adds texture and depth. The color story is warm, grounded, and intentional, which I love. On the flip side, I think the ruffles and coat are fighting a little for dominance. Less layering would have made the look sharper. Still, this is thoughtful styling, not random experimentation. So for that, he gets a well-deserved 8 out of 10. Liquorose in avant-garde Maya and stitches. She represented her name Rose by saying Bloom Elegance, but make it editorial. The sculpted red rose is a clear nod to the theme. It is bold, artistic, and memorable. The fabric catches light beautifully, which I really like. But yeah, let's be honest, the structure is wearing her. It's striking, yes, but so dominant that the dress becomes kinda background music, I would call it. The concept is strong, but I think balance could have been better. Hair, makeup, and accessory choices were cohesively aligned, which she gets extra points for. For that, I'm going to rate her an 8 out of 10. Akin Faminu showed off in LFJ Official. This is Bloom, but make it architectural menswear. The red pleated sculptural details against the crisp white suits are bold and experimental. The structure is clean and the craftsmanship shows. However, the proportions feel slightly top-heavy. The floral elements overwhelm the suit's elegance instead of enhancing it. To know Akin is to know that he doesn't play small when it comes to fashion, but I just think that this outfit borders on costume. I can't believe this, but I'm just going to rate him a 7.5 out of 10. Let me know if you disagree in the comments, because I know a lot of you will. Saga Adeolu rocking Samuel Cray is the next person in this fashion roast. He delivered soft bloom elegance with restraint, and honestly, that is refreshing to see. The cream double-breasted suit is sharply tailored, elevated by floral details peeking through. It's subtle, masculine, and quietly luxurious. Some might say it's too safe for a premiere, but I think the execution is flawless. This is bloom for men who don't need to shout. I love the infusion of monochrome with the shoes. He's giving 80s mob vibes. He gets major points for creativity and theme interpretation. For that, I'm going to rate Saga a 9 out of 10. The ninth person in this roast is Mojibade, stunning in Petonni. She served delicate couture romance in this outfit. The peachy blush tone feels like fresh petals, and the pleated texture adds graceful movement. The corseted bodice is sculpted without looking restrictive, and the floral accents are placed thoughtfully, not randomly glued on. You can tell from the picture. However, I think the look slightly leans bridal editorial rather than premier glamour. Gorgeous, yes, but a touch more edge could have elevated it even further. Those are just my observations. She still gets an 8.5 out of 10. Hawa Magaji in Larry de Silva Ajayi. This is modern bloom with editorial confidence. The floral corset is structured and flattering, while the voluminous skirts brings drama in a very refined way. The color palette, that is the rich purple and the florals, adds depth without screaming. The hair color choice against her skin tone, chef's kiss. Mwah. The only issue for me, which is secondary, is that the proportion slightly overwhelms Hawa's petite frame. Still, I think this is strong styling with clear intent. For that, I'm going to rate Hawa an 8.5 out of 10. V is next on my list, wearing the AVE brand. V went dark romantic bloom. The wine-toned tulle skirt flows beautifully and the corset cinches perfectly, creating a flattering hourglass moment. The slit adds sensuality without overdoing the elegance. That said, I think V's look feels more Victorian drama than blooming softness. She looks stunning but slightly off theme. For that, I would rate her a 7.5 out of 10. Shaleye Fubara in a rose young official thing. This is giving clean minimalist bloom. The soft yellow gown is tailored to perfection and feels fresh and serene. Then we turn around and boom, the pink bow detail at the back adds that surprise femininity. Lovely concept, but the front is almost too restrained for a premiere. The drama lives strictly at the back, which I understand. I'm not mad at it, but I don't think it ties in so well with the theme. For that, I'm going to rate her a 7 out of 10. Maria is next, styled by Deja Vu. This is pretty petals done safely. The pink gown with fringe detailing is soft, feminine, and wearable. The floral applique is subtle, the silhouette is clean. Unfortunately, it lacks a defining moment in my opinion. It blends rather than stands out. Still pretty, but missing the theme, Bloom Elegance. I'll rate her a 7 out of 10. Kie Kie pulled up in Atumbi by Mayokun. Gosh. Now this is Bloom Elegance fully activated. The sculptural floral appliques, the structured white base, the green and pink contrast is theatrical but polished. The oversized train gives red carpet impact without looking heavy. This look commands attention and understands the theme beautifully. Yo, don't play with Kie Kie when it comes to fashion. Like, I give her flowers. She's almost always on point. A fashion babe for sure. Easily one of my best looks at the behind the scenes movie premiere. She gets a well-deserved solid 9.5 out of 10. Inidima Okojie is the 15th person on my list, and she showed up looking like soft bloom but editorial styling. The floral fabric and voluminous silhouette feel romantic and free-flowing. The headpiece elevates the look into garden muse territory. However, the shape slightly swallows her frame. I think a bit more tailoring would have sharpened the elegance even more. The outfit aligns with some elements of the theme, but I also think it's sitting right at the edge, close enough to count, yet not strong or definitive enough to feel like the perfect match. She still gets an 8 out of 10. Uche Montana in Tinux is the last person in this episode of my fashion roast. Fashion analysis, if you will. She stepped out looking like a sculpted red rose. Sharp, confident, and impossible to ignore. The ribbed body contouring fabric is expertly constructed, hugging her figure with precision. This is tailoring that knows exactly what it's doing. The fiery red hue photographs beautifully and translates Bloom Elegance in a bold grown woman way. The subtle floral appliques at the neckline and hip are perfectly placed, enough to nod at the theme without turning the look into a costume. Hair and makeup are clean and intentional. The sleek ponytail and red lip keep everything polished and elevated. If I'm nitpicking, I'll say the rigid texture limits fluid movement slightly, but visually, this look is a win, and for that, she gets a 9 out of 10 from me. 16 guests later, we're done with the fashion roast segment. Moving over to best and worst dressed from the male and female categories. Before I continue, I'd like to point out that none of the looks I shared were bad or sloppy. Everyone showed up looking polished. The difference, I would say, is simply theme execution, not style failure. That said, instead of worst dress, a fairer description would be miss the full Bloom Elegance moment. Alright, let's go with that. So, best dressed female. You already know, Kie Kie. She understood the theme Bloom Elegance perfectly. Sculptural florals, refined structure, and clear red carpet drama without tipping into costume territory. The balance between bloom and elegance was intentional and polished. The Miss the Full Bloom Elegance moment, female category, I will give it to 3 people. V, Maria, and Sheleye. 3 of them fall under that category. For me, I think they all looked pretty, but their outfits bordered on the theme without fully committing to it. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. Best dressed male, Saga Adeolu. Yeah, for me. The floral detailing on his outfit was subtle but purposeful, proving that Bloom Elegance doesn't have to scream to be effective. Miss the Full Bloom Elegance moment, male category. Sadly, I'm going to give it to Akin Faminu. Creative, yes, but the proportions and heavy structural elements overwhelmed the elegant side of the theme. The bloom overshadowed the polish, if you ask me. I think Bloom Elegance rewards intention and balance. The best looks embrace florals with structure, and the weakest either played too safe or overdid the drama. But we can't deny that craftsmanship and intention were very much present. Which look was your fave and your least fave? Drop your votes below, not forgetting to give reasons for your preferences. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Chantel Nation for more fashion breakdowns, aka fashion analysis, aka fashion roast. Until next time, stay amazing. Thank you for watching. Mwah. Bye, y'all.
Always will guide a crew. Nothing's impossible. Your favorite Nigerian YouTuber. She holding down the spot, can't move her. And you know she get deep like scuba. Fashion, lifestyle, let's do it. Fish until I you do what she got.